It's time for another edition of Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. I'm your host, Tony Simeone, joined as always by the head coach, Marcus Freeman. Coach, you guys started the second half the right way with a win over UNLV. 44 points on the board. Just from your standpoint, what was the thing you were most pleased with in this victory?
Well, I think the challenge we had for our team was have a sense of urgency. Come out of the gates and let's play the way we know how to play. And to come out and score the first series, to get a stop, it was what we needed to kind of get the momentum and get our confidence where it needed to be. And I think in the first quarter, it was 20-something to 7. And that's the way we need to start the game. And we finished the half well. And then, second half, we need to improve a little bit. But it was a good confidence builder for this team as we prepare for 2 big games coming up.
First half of the year, maybe at home, things haven't gone the way you guys have wanted to. Just how satisfying was it to get a nice, comfortable win at home in this one?
Yeah, I said this before, but this place is special. Playing in Notre Dame Stadium is something we don't take for granted, and I don't love the narrative that we don't play well at home. This is our advantage, and so we needed to do that for us, for our fans at this place to make sure that we perform the way we're supposed to here at home.
Coach, appreciate it. We'll step aside, and when we come back, we'll break down the entire victory on this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. It's now time for this week's game breakdown. Coach talked about it a little bit earlier. You wanted to come out and start fast. You did just that on the first drive. It did look at it for a moment there, though. The drive was maybe going to stall. You had 3rd and 10. I thought a huge pickup on the deep throw to Jaden Thomas. Then Audric Estime runs it in. Just that drive in general, how important was it to start the way you guys did with 7 points on the board?
It was extremely important. We started off the game running the ball, which is something we knew we had to do, and then we had an easy completion of Michael Mayer, and that's the one thing we want to do. Let's get a couple easy completions so we can build that confidence. And that 3rd and 10 throw to JT was, I think, it was a great throw, but I think it was off of a confidence builder. The throw that he threw to Michael Mayer and then Audric to go run it in. We needed that first drive to go that way, and I think that kind of took off for the rest of the game.
Defense was sharp throughout the first half. They get a 3-and-out, get you the ball back. You go up 10-0 with a field goal from Blake Grupe. He's actually a guy I want to ask you about because I know he hit one off the upright in this one, but he gave you 3 field goals. I think he's been extremely solid for you all year long as a transfer, has had a great impact. Just what's your impression of Blake so far this year, and what's he done for this team?
Yeah, Blake's been really good. And again, you want everybody to be perfect. You want Blake Grupe to be perfect, and he's not, but he's been playing really well. And I knew going into that game, if we had some opportunities to get Blake Grupe some field goals, I wanted to do it. And I've been aggressive in the past couple games, and that's going to be something I always am, be an aggressive mentality guy. But I wanted strategically to get Blake Grupe some field goal opportunities this game, and he did a really good job converting.
Defense, again, gave you a great chance to bring the special teams unit out. You blocked a kick last week. This week, again, you block a kick early. Isaiah Foskey gets through. Special teams, I think, this year has been a strength. You just talked about Blake. Coach Mason's come over and I think really brought what he had at Cincinnati over here as well with all those blocked kicks. What's impressed you about the way specials have affected games throughout the year?
Well, I think it starts with Coach Mason and the mentality, the way he's teaching, and then the execution of his groups. And it's been really good to see. I think it's a buy-in from the entire program of how important special teams are. You got somebody like Isaiah Foskey on your punt block unit. You know what? He's our starting defensive end, a guy that's going to be in the NFL next year, but he's on special teams. And that's a philosophy we have from the top down is our best players will be on special teams, and to see them go execute and really dictate a game. To have 2 block kicks, and then the next kick wasn't a far one. I think we gave the ball to our offense in plus territory. That's impacting the game on special teams in the battlefield position, and they're doing a great job.
You took that first block punt and had that great field position, only took 2 plays. Michael Mayer makes the catch, scores a touchdown. I think every week now we're going to have to come up with a new word to describe Michael Mayer. 6 catches, I think it was for 115, the touchdown. Almost had another one that came off the board. He had the one-handed catch. We're getting to the point, I'm running out of words, so I'll ask you, what's the word that comes to mind this week when you think about Michael Mayer?
I don't know, you can use freak, you can use unicorn, you can use, he's just a talent, man. He is a unique individual that is playing at such a high level, playing confident. He's practicing well. I said that before. But, man, anytime your best player, and everybody knows he's your best player, continues to make great plays like Michael Mayer's doing, it's helping your entire team. So I would definitely use the term unicorn right now, for sure.
We'll go with unicorn going forward. I'll check back next week. So you're up 17-7. You mentioned the second block kick from Foskey. I just want to talk about his game as a whole, though. And I think you brought up a great point that when you have that guy on specials, that sends a message to the whole roster. But not just the 2 block punts. He had the 3 sacks as well. So what did you see from him in this game that you thought obviously worked for him? But then what can he take forward into the final 5 games of the year so you can get that same Isaiah Foskey week in and week out going the rest of the way?
Well, I think this is the first time in my career I've had the defensive player also be the special teams player of the game, and you know, it's awesome for him. He can be a dominant football player like he was on Saturday, and that's what we're going to need from him. We have a huge challenge coming up. The tackles from Syracuse are good football players, and we're going to need Isaiah Foskey to be dominant, and he can be on multiple different phases, and we're going to challenge him every week to play at that level.
What has impressed you about Clarence this year, and how big was that play for your defensive momentum in the first half?
It was huge. You know, Silu's a guy that obviously started all last year, and this year came in as your boundary corner, and now is playing some nickel with Tariq Bracy-Hurd, and so we needed that. Silu's an ultimate competitor, a team selfless guy, and he's seeing the benefits of it right now.
So you get the 44 points in this one. In the locker room, I'm just curious, you win at home. What's the message to the team? What's it like to be in the locker room here? Because I know you said you don't want them to forget, how difficult it is to win and how you should be satisfied with the victory, even though you acknowledge there's some things to clean up in the second half. What's your message then in the locker room after a game like this?
Well, the first thing is to celebrate it. Celebrate any victory that you can earn. You deserve the right to celebrate and feel good about it. The reality is we got to be better. We know that, and it didn't take long to kind of shift the focus to Syracuse and the challenge that we'll have ahead of us. And listen, that's what we're at Notre Dame for, to play the best of the best. And it's about us and about our preparation, about our progression as we move forward to play a really good Syracuse team.
Coach, appreciate it. We'll step aside and come back with more on this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. It's now time for this week's edition of Irish Access.
Dear Lord, thank you again for another amazing opportunity to come out here and play with our brothers that we work so hard with. I pray that you keep these guys healthy throughout the game. I pray that we play with the urgency and the violence today that we haven't all season. I pray that we come out here, have fun, and that we make a statement today. Hope these guys be the best teammates in the country, and let's have some fun.
Tight end Michael Mayer well on his way to earning the title of best tight end to ever play at Notre Dame.
Pine fires. How about Michael Mayer? And he is now going to tie for the touchdown lead at the University of Notre Dame with Ken McAfee.
Let's go! That's mine! Freaking Picasso! That's artwork! Oh, that's artwork, man!
Mayer starting to put together a little day for himself.
Mike, you want this? Yeah, let's go. You want this? Boy.
Pine looking for Mayer once again. Did he catch that?
Makes one of the best catches of the year down the middle of the field.
Hey, everybody thinks those things happen easy. That's a lot of work for that. You know what I mean? Yeah. Freaking artwork.
6 catches for 115 yards. He's been their go-to guy. And when you're the go-to guy, everybody wants to stop you. And then if you can come out week after week after week with the plays that make a difference in the game, you establish yourself as an elite player. He has certainly done that throughout his career here with the Irish.
So Logan, you guys picked up the big win against UNLV, 44 points for the offense. Just from your standpoint, what was the biggest key for you guys in the victory?
The biggest key for us probably was to come out and execute early, we had an emphasis of the whole week of urgency and, you know, coming out fast, starting strong, you know, be able to play home in front of fans. You know, we want to feed off their energy, you know, start right away. And I feel like that had a big impact on the game, us being up early.
I was going to ask you, what's it like running behind this offensive line, especially at this point in the year? It feels like they're really starting to come together just as a back. How nice is it to run behind those guys?
It's beautiful, man. Like when you get the ball and you already run into a line of scrimmage and they already set it back 3 or 2 yards. It's like, all right, so now all I got to do is just, you know, get 3 more, get 4 more. And, you know, they do a very good job of, you know, creating a wall and most importantly, they do a good job of trusting each other. They have a lot of chemistry. I mean, when you see the O-line in the locker room or eating, they're always together. You know, man, they do everything together. They go eat together. They go to training room together. They lift together. It's everything. It's a real unit, and you know, it's starting to show on the field.
Something you brought up that I'm curious about, I was going to ask you anyway, is an area of your game you think you can improve. You said you had a great performance, but you thought you left some yards out there. So when you go watch the tape with your coaching staff and you evaluate yourself, what are the areas of your game you're hoping to take up a level here in the second half of the year?
I want to continue to stay disciplined on my reads. You know, as a running back, you know, you get tired, you get fatigued, and sometimes you start doing your own thing sometimes. But, you know, if you want to be one of the best at what you do, you always have to stay disciplined, you know, always have to stay detailed. And, you know, you got to be dependable all the time. So I just want to continue to capitalize on all my reads, you know, and if there's a hole there, then I need to hit that hole because, you know, that turns from a 3-yard gain to possibly 10, 11-yard gain. And, you know, these big gains help the team, you know, continue to move down the field and get close to a touchdown.
I want to ask you about Notre Dame off the field. When you were making your decision to come to school and also play football, just what about this place drew you here?
So I went to public school my whole life, and then I went out of my comfort zone and went to Archbishop Rummel, and that's an all-boys school. So, like, I mean, I felt like me getting out of my comfort zone was always going to challenge me, you know, to become better as a man and, you know, as a student too. So I feel like me coming here would, you know, continue to push me to, you know, not stay complacent, you know, and just go seek what life has, you know. So I want to, you know, get up out of Louisiana, you know, go see something different.
How has this place done that then? What are the things that have happened since you've been on campus that have either taken you out of your comfort zone and given you those opportunities that you thought you'd have coming in?
I would probably definitely say school, you know. You know, school is, Notre Dame is school. Like, if you want to come play football and that's it, then Notre Dame's not the place for you. Like, they're the definition of a student athlete. And I would say probably the people, man. Like, the relationship that I built with my teammates and just the staff and the faculty, everybody around the Goog and just around this campus, like, people are just so genuinely nice here. And, you know, I love that. Like, there's never, like, any negative energy around.
Big weekend coming up. You guys are going to go to Syracuse. Obviously, it's going to be a great environment in that dome. I'm sure it'll be plenty loud. What's the focus for you guys as you get ready to go take on that opponent?
We need to stay here, you know. We need to keep on going up, you know. Back against the wall. Only way you can go is forward. And, you know, we just got to continue to stay together and continue to work hard at practice and, you know, trust our coaching. Matter of fact, like, most importantly, you know, trust what the coaches have. I mean, they're going to put you in the best position to succeed. And, you know, we do what we need to do, then we're going to go out there and we're going to try to handle business.
Logan, appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
No problem.
When we come back, we'll go inside the play with Irish Intel, presented by TireRack.com. Welcome back to Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. It's now time for this week's edition of Irish Intel. Coach, let's go inside this touchdown to Michael Mayer. Looks like he's going to have single coverage, and I know that if that's the case, you guys always want to try to find him. Just talk me through the progression on this play.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a one high coverage here. And again, you got Michael Mayer one-on-one. And anytime you get Michael Mayer one-on-one, you just try to put the ball in the realm of him where he can go and make a play. And this is a tough catch. People don't realize how tough of a catch that was. Michael Mayer tends to make things look pretty easy, but this was a difficult catch for him, and he executed and found a way to get in the end zone again.
When I watch him run a route like this, I mean, this is elite level route running you can see from a lot of wide receivers. You don't often see from tight ends. Just how special is he when he does run these routes at this level?
Well, I think it's what makes him special. Coach Parker, the tight ends coach, has a wide receiver background, Coach Whitehouse for a long time, so I think it's really enhanced Michael Mayer's route running, but he does a great job here stemming the guy that has a man-to-man coverage vertical and then breaking off what creates that separation. So he's becoming really elite with his route running as well as the multiple other things that he does well.
All right, Coach, so here on third down, you're going to pick up the sack. You get a lot of pressure in the backfield. It also leads to a block punt on the next play. So just tell me how you guys do get into the backfield and get this sack.
We've been playing a lot of man coverage on third down, but here we changed it up, played a little zone. And what you do is you see the quarterback has to hold the ball. You go man, 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 then all of a sudden you change it up with some zone. He holds the ball, and the pressure gets home. You know, we do a good job of setting some picks for JD to come around. He does a great job coming around nice and tight, and he makes a play. But I think it's all starting with the coverage aspect of it to get the quarterback to hold the ball, then we can go make a play.
Okay, Coach, Mitchell Evans is going to get the touchdown here on a tight end sneak. I know you guys ran this play a little bit earlier in the drive to extend it. Explain to me what the concept is and how it gets executed.
Steve Angeli gets the Oscar for the best acting job of acting like he's looking to the sidelines to make a correction or to make a different play call. Mitch kind of sneaks in there and does a great job of handling the snap. You got to do a good, that's where it starts at, handling the snap, and then the surge from the offensive line going forward. All Mitch has to do is fall forward, and it starts with the offensive line and getting that forward surge.
Coach, this is the final touchdown of the game. You get Braden Lenzy and his hands on the ball. When you can get him in space, he can obviously be very dangerous. So explain to me how you get him into the end zone here.
Well, the play before this, I think we ran another inside run, and so the defense started to pack it in tight and try to take away the inside run. So we wanted to get the ball on perimeter and use Braden's speed, and a really good job blocking out there on the edge. But Braden outruns one of the defenders and uses that speed that he has and is able to find a way to the end zone.
When we come back, we'll have more on this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. It's time to wrap up this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com. All right, Coach, this next stretch of 2 games, I think, is one that excites all Notre Dame fans. Let's start with the first one, going on the road to Syracuse. It's obviously going to be a huge game for them. It's a huge game for you guys. Awesome environment we expect in the Dome out there in Syracuse. So what's the biggest key for you guys as you get set for this game?
I've watched a couple games of them. They're a really good defense, one of the best in the country right now statistically, and their offense is so explosive in terms of their quarterback, their running back. They got a tight end wide out that's really, really good. And so we'll have our hands full, but it's going to be about our execution, our preparation, and what we do. And so this is, to me, as we talked about last week, one of those bumps in the roads where we were down, but this is a great opportunity for us to really make a huge step in terms of reaching our full potential as a football team. And so I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the opportunity, the competition to play a really good football team that's won a lot of games this year, and I know our players will be ready to go.
I've heard you talk about it a few times this year, but when this team plays well, you can beat anybody in the country, and I think that's obviously the case. The question is, I know you've even brought it up as well, how do you put together the 60 minutes? We've seen this team play at an extremely high level, maybe a half here or a quarter there. How do you put together 4 quarters so that you go into Syracuse and get it done?
I think it's I'm going to use this word again, is having that sense of urgency, but to do your job one play at a time. And every single rep, every rep matters. And it's a coach's job to make sure they get their job done every single time they're called upon. And so we as a program have to have a sense of urgency to not just say, okay, we're going to get better and better, but let's get better now. And let's correct any mistakes we have right now in hopes that, hey, as you go into a game, you're playing 60 minutes of execution. And it will start in practice. It'll start in practice and make sure our sense of urgency is where it needs to be. And then as we go into the game, it's one play at a time of one play of execution, then move on to the next one, next play of execution. So that'll be the challenge.
Coach, appreciate it. Looking forward to watching your team on the road next week.
Thank you.
All right, that does it for this week's edition of Inside Notre Dame Football, presented by TireRack.com.